McFry is the cockadoodle rooster. I am the rooster. So last night I watched Obama address Congress. It wasn't particularly interesting. He was just talking up his economic recovery plan, and it's already passed, so whatever. But he did say something that piqued my interest, and he prefaced it by saying that the people who are responsible for this economic crisis should be held responsible, and the financial system should be overhauled and also be regulated better so that the people in charge of regulating it can do their job better and it can be more financially sound for everybody. And he says it's going to be called like the Financial Stability Act for America or whatever, something like that. I believe that if properly regulated, our economy wouldn't need to go through these big crashes and gigantic upswings based on bullshit. I mean, if it was just, you know, kept a little honest, we wouldn't have these problems. So I think that's a great plan. I think that's a great idea. So now on to the Republican response, which is totally irrelevant, totally unnecessary, and that's not my opinion. That's everybody I've talked to. They seem to think the same thing. And I'll try not to sound too self-important here, but my response, and everybody else who gives a response online, is infinitely more important than whatever this guy said. That's because people like me have more credibility than anybody in the Republican Party. No matter who they get to spew that baloney, and no matter how good their backstory is. That said, Mr. Bobby Jindal, he said nothing in response to what Obama's speech was. It was basically a canned bunch of rhetoric that they had, you know, a speechwriter work on, and they just had him read it after Obama gave his speech. It had nothing to do with it. That's because they didn't have anything about Obama's new act, which is to fix the banking and financial system. Now, to Bobby's point, which was that government is too big and spends too much. And I think it's peculiar that the Republican Party only seems to state this when they are no longer the ones in power, in charge of hiring, and in charge of the purse strings that they can spend and give to their own party and their own friends and the people they really work for, which is the upper crust, the richest of America that owns 80% of America. You see, Bobby doesn't believe the government should be smaller, as he takes his paycheck from the government, as he works with hundreds of other people day to day down in Louisiana that get their paycheck from the government. He does not state that. He never says that. He only says that when the Republican Party pays him to get on TV to say it. Secondly, for him to get up there and trash talk about government-run healthcare and that the government shouldn't provide healthcare for people when he's up there taking government healthcare, not refusing it, not bashing it for himself, just saying, oh, it's bad for everybody else, but I don't mind taking it. I don't see him giving it up and getting private healthcare for him and all his family members and all his staff. Hypocrisy at its height, my friends. You see, Bobby can get on TV and give a national response on all the major networks because he's bankrolled by people with some deep-ass pockets. And they have one goal and one goal only, and they employ a huge team of people called the Republican Party, people like Bobby, to get up there and state these things that they don't really believe. But the policies they're trying to get through are for one and only goal: to keep 80% of the wealth, which the very wealthy of this country own in terms of percentage of everything in America. They want to keep as much of that in their pockets, regardless of laws and fairness and reason. Damn hypocrisy. Screw that. We'll just spew the garbage anyways. So you see, they'll pay people like Bobby to get up there and try and convince people, listen, you people don't want to pay a little bit more taxes to cover people who don't have health insurance because you could just be very selfish like us. Join us on the selfish bandwagon. I mean, it's great over here. We got tons of cash. You could probably get some too, like mountains like us, if you were just selfish like us. Join the party. Cock-a-doodle.